This is your thing.
What do you mean your thing?
Initiated by you. It's not my thing. Like, I mean, I've not initiated it. I'm party to
Sure,
it.
sir.
I'm the
Sure.
And you are
questionable
even
party
like
in it.
academically interested in this, no?
That is true. I mean, he's also
Yeah.
academically interested in it.
Who? I don't read.
You.
How will I be academically
Specifically into
interested?
this.
You were bragging about reading today, sir.
I skim read a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Sir, you were showing off the fact that you are in fact not illiterate today. So
Yeah,
you
because you guys, because only to you guys though, not to anyone else. No, but
one.
vested interest though, most is yours only. Okay, don't try and swivel this away from that.
I'm going to start calling you
This is like
homophobic for saying such things, okay? You need to not.
no, this is like me initiating a Terrence Malick episode and making you the host. I'm not going to do that. Target
Sure, sir.
audience.
Did you guys do
Sure,
this
sir.
last time?
No,
Uh,
last year Dhruv didn't let
last
me do it.
fuck
No.
off. He had stuff to do.
I legitimately asked you, and you
Yeah,
said last year तो किया था ना, अब क्यों करना?
yeah. Last year we did like fairly extensive stuff.
हाँ, so like Pride Dhruv के
You
लिए
want
2 साल में एक ही बार आता है.
जादू मंतर जादू मंतर जादू मंतर You are going into the future.
You talking to me?
They always be the scene closing. என் பேர் மாணிக்கம் எனக்கு இன்னொரு பேர் இருக்கு
Talking to me?
Queen is dead.
Hello, and welcome to Queen is Dead's second ever Pride special series. We did one 2 years back where we covered mostly queerness in Hindi cinema, and also did one very special episode, Dhruv and I, on Claire Denis' Boat Travail, which is a personal favorite film of ours.
It is perfect. Yes.
It's not so perfect. But this year, we wanted to sort of expand from where we started and diversify into just looking at different filmmakers and different films from different eras, which render queerness on screen in different ways. And so we have picked 9 films by 10 filmmakers, which we've generally divided into sort of 3 regions. The first episode is going to be on Asian queer cinema, for which we have taken 3 films. Wong Kar-wai's Happy Together, 1997, Tsai Ming-liang's the River, 1997, and Apichatpong Weerasethakul's Tropical Malady, 2004. I'm going to do most of the intro now so that we can, in the later episodes, I don't have to go over it again. But the scope of these films might seem a bit limited, but we sort of selected them based on our personal interests, our tastes, our liking of what kind of queer films we're into, we've seen, and also what we want to see. Because at least out of this lot, Happy Together was a film that all 3 of us are seeing for the first time, for example. So the aim is just to talk about how, even for example, what does it mean for a film to be queer? That's a big question that we have been asking each other. Does having queer characters or being about queer characters make a film queer? Is it, how central does queerness have to be to the narrative? Do you need to have queer characters at all? I mean, both our conversation was about how even without
The
having
loop is
explicitly huh?
the loop is queer. No?
Sure, I mean, like, not like quote
Not
unquote
openly,
explicitly.
but it's about the repressed desire, and it is.
Sure, but yeah, I'm saying, like, we were talking about like we were reading and things like that last time as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
We
like,
talked about Kal Ho Na Ho and all also. So please go listen to that episode because that was very fun. Also, Chris has been very disingenuous. It's not just me who's joining. Chris, come on.
yeah, I will get to it, sir.
Yeah.
Anyways, for this journey, I don't know what to say. I am joined
Sure.
by two.
Journey. So it's like an Imtiaz Ali thing, or what?
No, I just had that. Ashwin will know this. I had that John Waters thing in my head. So I was thinking of a word, and he said on the other day he hates
What is
it
this?
when an actor says, I'm so proud of myself. I'm, come on such a long journey. He's like,
Oh,
you
okay.
didn't come on a journey. A journey is escaping from Ukraine.
So, well,
But
this
yes,
isn't a journey then,
it,
uh,
it is
as of
not.
now.
I have with me 2 fellow queer cinema enthusiasts. in Ashwin and Dhruv. Hi, boys.
Hi. This is again a
Good
manual,
going.
right?
It's again
To borrow Varun's phrase.
Queen is
Yeah.
Dead is a manner,
No, no,
except
we
for once in a while where we have like token representation by
which
people
will
who
be
are
there in
not
the next
men,
episode for
hopefully.
European cinema.
Yeah.
No, hopefully, no, it's confirmed. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice, nice.
yeah. So it's not
Which
just
is an
a
anomaly, is
manual.
the point. It's the exception that proves the rule.
I mean, I've done more episodes with her. You haven't, so it's clearly your problem. Which I mean,
Wow.
you know,
I have done an episode with her. Come
you've
on.
done one, only one.
She's been on like twice, no?
Yeah, but I was in the second one also. Sorry, go ahead.
My God. Anyways, the other two episodes we have in mind are one is on European cinema, where we're going to be covering Querelle by Ada Werner Fassbinder, Stranger by the Lake by Alain Guerardi, and
The
Meetings of
Meetings
Anna,
of Anna by
Meetings of
Chantal
Anna by
Ackerman.
Chantal Ackerman.
Yeah.
And for the third episode, we picked English language films. Dhruv only wanted to cover Terence Davies, and after we said we'll do one Terence
No,
Davies film,
correction. I
yes,
wanted to cover
I was
England.
I was
England.
getting there, sir. You started with Terence Davies, and then we're like, oh, we'll do like British filmmakers or English
Yes, because we
filmmakers.
have some decent ones.
And I said no, I want to talk about other films as well. Specifically, I want to talk about American films, which
Yeah.
which annoyed Dhruv. But we will be talking about Benediction by Terence Davies, Pink Flamingos by John Waters, and Bound by the Wachowski sisters. So we've tried to pick a sort of like a variety of films. Yes, a lot of them are about like monosexual gay men, but that also just happens to be the kind of cinema we are into, I guess.
Not the type of thing you say at the beginning of an episode, Chris, but okay.
I mean, sir, if you're going to get in trouble, might as well
Yeah,
like be open about.
By the way, we suggested other films which you
We
didn't
did.
you guys have rejected. So you know that wasn't
No,
on
no, no, no. Paris is Burning was rejected by
by
him.
Chris. By
Yeah.
I
Chris.
rejected Paris is Burning.
Which,
I will take this
to be
thing
fair, I
from you.
haven't seen it, so
It is a great film.
It is a great film. I
Yeah.
didn't not say that. I do
Yeah.
quite adore it. I just
Yeah.
thought it didn't fit into what we are aiming for with this
Yeah, how wonderful.
series.
And then of course
Uh,
Mulholland Drive was rejected by both of you. So
and we will defend that.
we will
Today.
defend that
Yeah.
right now.
For good reason.
For good reason. Anyways, our plan is hopefully if it comes together and we do it still to cover Mulholland Drive for Pride, just not within this.
I'm just
Anyways.
gesturing to Chris to not say this because I don't want to make promises that won't be then delivered.
I'm saying if it happens, okay.
Sure.
If.
Sure.
Anyways, I think we can start. We're going to go in chronological order. So we'll begin with Wong Kar-wai's Happy Together.
要快，不如我哋由頭再嚟過。
This was shown at Cannes, where it won Best Director. It is written by Wong Kar-wai himself. It stars Leslie Chung, Tony Leung, and Chang Chen. Its cinematography is by Christopher Doyle, edited by William Cheng. I'm just going to read the
Editors, I have two editors here.
two
Are you
editors.
sure?
Oh, sorry, yeah, William Cheng and Wong Min Lam.
Sorry to be the teacher, but yeah, sorry. I noted this
No,
down.
no.
So yeah.
It's fine. I missed it.
Yeah.
I'll just read the summary off of IMDb, not sponsored. But a couple
Yeah.
take a trip to Argentina, but both men find their lives drifting apart in opposite directions. So this is, I think, the film that we have the most diverse opinions on, or at least the most like different opinions on. Not like interpretations, because like we have different interpretations with another film, but this one it's more just like, do we even like it? Is an interesting question which we were not expecting to be answering in this episode. But
Yeah, I mean, the selections we've made were fairly quote unquote safe in terms of critical acclaim these films and filmmakers have received. So we are not like, except for I guess Pink Flamingos, but that's also supposed to be a classic sort of, you know,
yeah, and not even
trash art
critical
film.
acclaim, and even for the films that we had seen, we took films that we really like because we wanted to
Yeah.
talk about films that we like.
Yeah, again, yeah, we don't want to like bitch about stuff. Chris already has that episode with the Indian cinema queer
Yeah,
representation. So.
Again, that's the one thing, right? Like with that episode, it was kind of like, because the cinema is trying to be didactic, then you get to judge it on that level of, is it good at, or is it actually saying anything worth
Yeah.
teaching the audience. Here,
I
that's not the
feel,
approach
I think in
these.
all of the films we are doing that didacticism is almost totally absent,
It's
right?
absolutely absent. I think
Yeah,
some of them range to like almost kind of queer expression as kind of like something like Pink Flamingos and Querelle
yeah.
to, even questionably moral Stranger by the Lake and things like that. So that kind of level of discussing films is not there for this episode.
Yeah.
But I'm going to throw it as the person who likes it the most out of the three
Eh,
of us.
Again, wow moment for me, huh? Because I'm the one who likes it the most. So I guess I have to make firstly confessions. I have not seen too many Wong Kar-wai films. I know Cinephile Card Revoked, etc., etc. But I have only seen In the Mood for Love, which I do love very much, and I will not be hearing any snide remarks about it from people who don't love it. This is a comment directly addressed to Amartya and somewhat to Cris, who was also a little bit cold on it, which I'm like, check your senses, sir. Which will another sentiment which will repeat itself later in today's episode.
So this is the
Anyways.
episode where you bitch at me and not at the
Yeah,
films.
because your choice. This is an episode which reveals how conventional your choices are, also,
So
which
I don't
I
think
am
Querelle is a
disappointed in.
very conventional film, okay?
This episode, we are not discussing Querelle. Anyways, see, you've thrown me off track from the get go. It's I was nicely bitching about you and Amartya. Anyways, yeah. So Happy Together, I saw yesterday night, and I thought it had the feeling of a Cassavetes film to me, overly aestheticized Cassavetes film. I mean, what I mean by a Cassavetes film is more akin to sort of
The
r-
naturalist performances.
yeah, naturalist performances, roughly drawn drama with a handheld camera, which is as sort of rushing in to capture the emotions as the emotions are being expressed. Uh, of course, Wong Kar-wai has a more manicured style, and that style shows itself a couple of times in this. I think a lot of times it doesn't show itself, and I think that are the strengths of Happy Together. I thought the performances in the film were very accomplished. I thought the film needed to be a little bit more limited in its point of view. I think it tries to do a little bit too much in terms of capturing points of views of characters. But overall, I got a feeling of this feeling of feeling adrift in a different sort of place is something which I have gotten from a number of other movies, and I kind of thought about them not. I have to make it clear, not in a sort of stylistic register, but a sort of thematic register. I did think of stuff like Edward Yang's Taipei Story, this is of course kind of the antithesis, considering Hong Kong here becomes the place to go back to attain freedom. And by the way, we're talking in spoilers, but I mean, for this, there are no spoilers. It's literally like what is it called? Flipping through a memory book, sort of feel to it with a narrator, which I think all of us agree is kind of unnecessary. But yeah, I watched it. I thought it was a pretty effectively well done, messy drama about characters who are self-destructive, who don't know when to quote unquote start over, which is a consistent phrase that runs throughout Happy Together. And I think I mentioned in the group when I watched it, and I meant I didn't read anything about it till then, but I was like, is this even about queerness as much as it's about cultural displacement? Because that's the thing I felt about it most, because it opens with sort of these rapidly edited sort of montage of passports, and apparently they are British passports, so there's a sort of historical context behind this, of course, which we dug into a little bit afterwards. I'll get into it later when we talk about sort of how much of this film is actually more pointing towards cultural displacement and less about sort of queerness, which I think Cris and Ashwin will especially like to, throw nails at, justifiably so. None of us had seen Happy Together before, so, and I get their criticisms related to it. I guess the difference between Cris and Ashwin and my sort of liking of the film is that I think I felt more. simply on the basis of watching the film. I thought, again, I like my stoic, depressed heroes quite a bit. Tony Leung, I thought was very good. I think some of the images in the film are terrific, not in a sort of so I'll tell you, there are images which are very flashy, which are very Wong Kar-wai, which I was like, not maybe in this movie. There's the one where the camera pulls back very slowly in slow motion as Tony Leung is looking back at the car in which his lover is leaving, and he's smoking a cigarette. And I was like, that is such an aestheticized shot. What is it doing in this movie? Though, I really liked the other touches, which is like people looking through windows. Of course, it's entire that's going on throughout the film. And I actually thought one of the better images to encapsulate the rhythm of the whole movie was this very simple image of Chen Chang's character whisking an egg while and in circular motion. And I think the whole film sort of follows that rhythm itself. And I think that sort of simple, like simple images communicating the central idea of the film is what I also very much liked. The more beautified stuff, I was a bit. So I basically didn't like the Wong Kar-wai-ness of it, which is kind of sad. But yeah, in this context, I think it fits. It is a sort of wrong fit. But yeah, anyways, go guys, blast through this.
Ashwin, you can go first.
No, Dhruv makes it sound like, we hate that movie, but we don't really
I
hate the
mean,
movie.
see, it's a
Yeah,
relative thing, no, because everyone
yeah,
loves it. I mean,
Yeah.
compared to them,
that's true. Like,
even I don't like it compared
right,
to how much everyone likes it. Yeah.
right. Like right after watching, like when I went to Letterboxd, it was like 4.2 with every one of my mutuals are giving it 5, 4.5. I'm like,
Yeah. And I have to
and
Same.
say, sorry, Ashwin, just to interrupt, I specifically had someone who doesn't like Decision to Leave tell me that I like Decision to Leave because I've not seen Happy Together. So it's a very interesting, yes. So I'm just saying, I'm putting it
no,
out there.
You can
whoever
Yeah,
you are
congratulate that
wrong.
person on being wrong.
Yeah,
I will.
whoever you are wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, but I know that comparison was drawn for me, and I was like, oh wow, I should really watch Happy Together because you're comparing it to Decision to Leave, which I think is one of the best romances in general. So, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so like as we said, none of us had seen this before, so this is the movie that like I was like most excited about in some ways
Hmm.
to
You've
watch until
seen more Wong Kar-wai, right? Of course.
yeah, I've seen and I've loved all of the Wong Kar-wai films that I've seen before, like In the Mood for Love, Days of Being Wild,
Chunking.
2046, Chungking Express, yeah, all
Hmm.
of them. Like some of them I like really love them.
Hmm.
So I was quite disappointed by this because to put it simply, I found the story a bit impersonal.
Hmm.
It is it's very similar to like other films, as I mentioned, like Days of Being Wild and Chunking Express, where you have like this, they're following like one couple or like more couples, like, and the interactions between them, and their relationships are usually like often messy, and Wong Kar-wai has this very specific stylized aesthetic of all these Dutch angles, and there's different color schemes, and like great popular soundtrack, and that
Yeah.
whole thing. It's the same thing. It's the same template. It's the same kind of messy romantic drama.
Hmm.
So I didn't particularly feel any sort of specific queerness to the romance between the characters. Although, like I believe, as Dhruv said, the actors are really good. Like the performances are really good. It actually feels like a lived-in relationship. Like
Hmm.
you can feel, and the physical intimacy between the characters is like so well done. Like which not it's not really surprising. Like both of them,
Yeah.
like Milang and Leslie Chung, like even like they've done the same thing and like similar things in like most of us like Wong Kar-wai films itself, like in Days of Being Wild, In the Mood for Love, and all.
Yeah.
So, what I really like about it is that, like, is the physical intimacy between them,
Can
and
I
that
interject 1 second, Ashwin? Sorry, just I just want to ask a question based on I've
Yeah.
only watched In the Mood for Love, and I watched it a while back. And
Yeah.
I know that that film is very stylized. Also, the Yumeji's theme is like a huge thing. It's used. I mean,
Love team.
it's a gorgeous piece also.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember one of the reasons why the aesthetic approach of In the Mood for Love worked there is because that film is about these people being very constricted in their sort of spaces and like swooning or like wanting to at least the roughness isn't there because it's all cloistered existence and very mannered living. Actually it belongs closer to sort of because they are in marriages which are like like it's already institutionalized. Here the roughness is the part. It's this that whole idea
Right.
of
Right.
of it being shapeless, their relationship being shapeless. And I was like, why this style for this film? Like, like it's like it's such a odd fit for this sort of roughly hued sort of drama. At least that's what I felt. So I wanted to sort of just get.
No, but yeah, so you haven't seen the other ones, I
I haven't
suppose.
seen the other ones. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like if you look at Days of Being Wild, it has a messy, you
Okay.
know, feel to it. I mean, as you said, like this In the Mood for Love was like very so stylized, so handpicked. It's perfect in a
Yeah.
way. I mean, that's my kind of a known issue, kind of an issue with that movie is that it's too
Hmm.
perfect. Like I'm like
Sure.
the theme is so beautiful. Like it
Yeah.
evokes love. Like it is love that Yomiji's
Yeah.
theme. So that everything is so perfect.
Mm.
So I think that's the only film we have seen of his, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's the
an
only one.
outlier, and it's where
Okay.
his craft kind of peaked, I would say.
Okay.
Um, but his other films like Chunking and Days of Being Wild, they're all a bit messy in terms of narrative structure, and it's very
Sure.
loose. And
But they
so in
worked for you there, right? You're saying the
it
style.
worked very well. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. No, to me, like it kind of matches the nature of the relationships. It's they're often very messy, like thorny relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you said, the self-destructive kind of relationship.
Mhm.
So to me, like more than the queer thing, like this intimacy part really worked for me. This, for example, like yeah, we were reading about the title thing. The original Chinese title is it
Mhm.
means spring light at first glance, which
Yeah.
is a name that means something, suggests the exposure of something intimate.
Yeah.
So I feel like that title is very apt to the movie that I watched.
Mhm.
I mean, they clearly went for Happy Together for the song, and it probably it's a more sellable title in the West.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, as a portrait of an intimate relationship, it worked for me. But as a pure film, like I didn't particularly find it, you know, all that interesting as such, which is not a criticism. That disappointment came from my presumption about the
Mhm.
film.
Yeah.
So then again, but yeah, as I said, it's a bit of an impersonal film to me, and so
Yeah.
I didn't really connect all that well to it compared to
Mhm.
all other Wong Kar-wai films. It's a solid film.
Yeah.
That's my initial thoughts.
Perfect. Chris?
So I think the aesthetic thing is an interesting place to start because I feel like my one of my issues with the film is it feels like very manicured roughness is I think the kind of um juxtaposition that I find really strange with the film because it's trying to go for something, like you said, a slightly more memory
Have you
like.
seen a Cassivities or have you
I've
not?
not seen. So
So
in context of this film, I've only seen In the Mood for Love
you've
from Wong
seen Bergman
Kar-wai's.
recently, right?
I've seen one Bergman film, yes.
So, okay. Yeah, I would say Cassivities is a bigger thing here. To me, at least, that struck more, just because of how everything is. Because Bergman is also more formalist
More
than sort
formalist,
of
yeah, yeah.
than Cassivities. So,
Definitely. So,
yeah.
so In the Mood for Love, I've seen a good long while back, and I'm happy to rewatch it and reassess my this thing of
Mm,
it. But I remember liking it, but not like loving it.
mm,
But going into this, I've been told by not only numerous people in my life, but like faculty, people who I
yeah.
research with, that and they're like extremely surprised when they're like, I am interested in queer cinema and I haven't seen this film. Like proper moral indignation
Yeah.
kind of a thing I've been met with. So I was myself pretty excited to watch it. But I think to me, fundamentally, the film is very distant. And I think the aesthetic part of it is one thing where it's like the manicuring kind of disconnects me from a lot of the characters, and like a lot of time, a lot of aesthetics decisions feel almost counterintuitive to what the film is going for. But apart from that, I feel like it's working on a lot of broad stereotypes of like the stoic gay character versus the more chaotic gay character, which I felt kind of flat for me. I think both Tony Leung and Leslie Chung do a great job in bringing like a certain embodied, or like what do you call, lived in feeling to them, but the script itself
You
doesn't really like.
Sorry, that word is such a like a cliche at this point. Lived in just fine sounds like 4D at this point. Sorry, which is
Sorry,
fine. You
sir.
found the film also funny, so
Let's not go that far, sir.
okay.
But but I think it is a very well made film. I think Wong Kar-wai is a very, I think I don't have to say this myself, but like he's a very talented director, and he's got a very distinct style to him. I just feel like Ashwin was saying, or you guys were saying, that the style doesn't really make sense with regards to this film.
Mm,
And I think for me, it's so the parts that I do like of it are, like Ashwin said, the kind of interpersonal moments. I think the stuff inside Tony
the
Leung's
apartment.
apartment is very interesting. The kind of back and forth that they have, where Leslie Chung's character is always trying to leave and Tony Leung's is kind of trying to hold him back. That
Mm,
is a very interesting exploration of how the film kind of explores queerness.
mhm.
But it's, to me, the question is it really a queer film? And the question is, what makes a queer film, right? And to
Yeah,
me, and Dhruv and I were reading a paper on this as well, which I
Audrey,
sadly don't
you.
remember. Audrey Yu's paper. I don't remember the
Mm.
name of the author, but
What's so queer about Happy Together is the article's title.
yeah. So the question is, to me, queerness is fundamentally something to do with normativity. It's the question
Mm,
of, it is a playing with, or even a recognition of, or an exaggeration of normativity in some way, which defines something as queer. And I
mm,
feel like, as you points out in that essay, a lot of the film seems much more to be reinforcing a lot of like heteronormative or like societal conventions instead of playing with them in any regard. So it feels like a film that could have been, it doesn't need to be a queer couple. And that to me kind of loses a certain specificity, because if you're using queerness, I generally tend to, or a lot of things when you do, you kind of wish that a director or a filmmaker uses it with a certain intentionality, which I
yeah.
felt kind of missing here. And again, that sort of distance made me like not really buy into the characters, not really buy into their relationship itself. um and it so I definitely felt more of the kind of broader themes of like alienation, being in a place that is not your own, the desire to go back and negotiating that kind of difference, much more than I felt like this is, a film about queerness in any way. And coming back to what you were mentioning earlier, this is kind of also why Ashwin and I said no when Dhruv proposed Mulholland Drive as one of the films to discuss for this series, which is, again, I saw Mulholland Drive about 2 years ago, so I don't remember it the most, but I remember quite a bit of it. But even in that film, I think it's going for a lot of things. It also is a film that features a queer, pairing as central to it. But again, I don't know how much it is a queer film in that it, especially for the specific purposes of this exercise that we are engaging in, makes sense to discuss as a film about queerness in a certain
So, are
sense.
you telling me, Chris, that the first film we are discussing as part of the series does not qualify for this series?
Unknowingly so, yes.
So
Okay,
is this the only film that none of us had seen before?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
okay.
think so, yeah.
Let's
I mean, we were, to be honest, and the listeners, whoever they are, can help us if they
Yeah.
want to. If they found, like, we were actively searching for queer Asian filmmakers and films from them, and of course, because we were pairing them up with people like Tsai Ming-liang and Apichatpong, Weerasethakul, we were looking at filmmakers who are sort of well reputed enough, also in that sense.
Yeah.
That is not to say that people see, this is how cautious I am nowadays. This is not to say that people who have only made one or two films are not, like,
Yeah.
worthy of being discussed. It's just the point of, we are discussing it sort of stylistically also. So if they have a body of work, it's easier to sort of categorize it and talk about it in that respect. And he is the only cis person we are discussing, cis
Not
filmmaker.
cis, heterosexual. We have all but two of the other
Your take over,
filmmakers are.
Chris.
No, no. The point is, all all but two of the other filmmakers, I think, are cisgender,
Yeah.
and only Wong Kar-wai is heterosexual.
Heterosexual. Okay, fine. Chris, listen to Chris,
Essentially,
not to me.
the only, like, as of what we know, non-queer filmmaker making a
Yeah.
queer film. And again, we gave this disclaimer last time as well, and I want to give it here as well, that this is not any kind of essentialist, like, judgment for us to say that queer filmmakers make good queer films and non-queer filmmakers don't make good queer films.
Yeah.
There are films in both categories that don't, adhere to that kind of truism that a lot of people hold.
Yeah.
Our aim is very much just to sort of explore how auteurs, how directors,
Yeah.
And
it's interesting also.
queer,
No, but
right?
it's also interesting that Happy Together is one of the canonical
Yeah.
canonical films in the queer, especially new queer
New
movement,
queer
I
cinema,
think.
and it's also
And for
has
Hong
a
Kong, it's like the biggest thing, right?
for Hong Kong, it has a huge, again, a lot of the people I know who love it are queer people, so it's not like
Sure.
I am definitely in this case a certain exception, at least
Mm-hmm.
least in my circle. Even in that newspaper, there was a lot of talk about how a certain diaspora of queer diaspora has clung on to this film. So it's our take on it. It's not kind of any kind of judgment on the film itself per se, but fundamentally that is the that's the dilemma of asking that, even defining something as a queer film, even based on like genre markers, or even in the question not a genre per se, is really difficult because it
No, I
becomes
think we based it more on reception and sort
Yeah.
of, what the sort of reputation, legacy of the film is. And I think on the basis of Wong Kar-wai also, who we've never discussed on this podcast ever. So I guess that's the other reason which we wanted to discuss his work also. So, I mean, sorry, we went into a sort of long discussion about why we are doing certain discussions, but we are covering our tracks and making mistakes while doing it, but it's fine. Uh, Sorry. So yes, Chris, you're done with the sort of why is it not eligible for this discussion?
I am done with. I mean, I mean, it's good to have an exception first, and then we can get into what the
Right.
other of, like, this is not what we were going for. Now this is.
You were, when you talked about this, I mentioned I thought of like NRI adjacent cinema of India
Yeah.
while watching Happy Together, which is like
No, I
Kabhi
feel
Khushi
that.
Kabhi Gum and all that, which are like very nostalgic towards their own nation, and
Yeah.
which is the context actually which I've written here is basically is that Hong Kong was being handed over from the British to the Chinese in 1997. So this is made just before that happened. So it's a lot about finding the what was the whole thing in Yu's article about the people who adhere to sort of like who conform to traditionalist values find a happy
New
ending.
confusion values,
Yeah,
and
find a happy ending when because they reach back to their hometown. Whereas the person who's the messy gay stereotype is stranded in Argentina.
Yeah, and it's like
Right.
they are even allowed to return, right?
Yeah.
Because so what Yu's article talks about is both with Tony Leung's character, he's a very like straight presenting, but also
Yeah.
like the kind of more monogamous, doesn't really
Yeah.
like less
Good guy.
quote unquote promiscuous, that kind of straight guy is
Mhm.
the kind of point that she's going for.
Mhm.
They're going for, but so he gets to go, and the third character, he is
Yeah,
also
what
kind
is
of
the
there.
third character? Like, what
Yes,
is
I was
he?
about to ask. Yeah, what is
Because
his whole?
Ashwin also asked this, right? Because
Yes.
Ashwin
Yeah.
asked, is he actually queer? Or like, are they distancing him from being queer too? So, what
I
is
want
with that?
my thought is, maybe in a sense, if you go with Yu's reading, maybe he's almost like temptation for like Leung's
Okay.
character. Like, I think that's one way of seeing it, which is that uh Leslie Chung's character presents kind of like a moral failing of
Yeah.
falling into the kind of outside of normative this thing of being promiscuous and you know not unstable or not adhering to what they refer to as new Confucian values, which is what
Mhm.
Y is kind of talking about. But that I think Chang, I think the character's name is, if I'm not
Chang.
mistaken.
Yeah.
He for Tony Leung's character is in a sense almost like a temptation to kind of leave that go kind of Leslie Chung's way of be disloyal to his partner and etc., etc., etc. And those two manage to not engage in it. They,
Yeah.
end up
They are
bros
made
being
for each
bros.
other in a sort of weird way. Like there's that hug between them once
Yeah.
Chang is leaving, where I was like, "Well, you're clearly going for a romantic thing here, right? Like a
Yeah.
sort of, these people are,
There's here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like these people are sort of made for each other, but they are not seeing it, but they will soon see it, like that sort of thing. Like, or maybe will not see it because, Wong Kar-wai film, so tragedy. But like,
Yeah.
uh, this is based on the
He's kind
one
of
film I have
like
watched, but yeah.
see to the ending of the film. No, like when he even when Tony eventually reaches back to Hong Kong and he
Yeah,
incidentally like visits
Yeah.
Chang
yeah,
parents, like what
yeah,
is
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they have
And
what is it, telepathic connection of sorts, right?
Or
yeah,
more like fate, like connection between the
Sure.
two.
Also, by the way, just to mention, too many endings, like at least too many. There is a clear last shot here, which I'm shocked that they didn't end there.
like
Uh, no, the
the falls.
falls.
Yeah, falls.
The
Yeah.
I'm like,
falls,
you're
yeah.
gonna linger on the falls with the camera, like doing the same thing of like, almost craning up and like going somewhere else and create this majestic point of view. And then we go to the lighthouse. I'm like, come on, like,
And you
we
you
can't.
got your contrast between the Leslie Chung character looking at the lamp and Tony Leung actually at the thing. You got
Yeah,
your thematic
that's the whole
bow.
thing. I think they're tying too many bows also in that sense because then Chang needs his narrative to have a book like be neatly ended. So it's strange actually for a
Yeah.
messy film. This has very neat
Yeah.
ending for every character, which is odd to me. Again, given by In the Mood for Love, which I think is where it ends, like is fairly devastating.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's interesting, but I did like it. Sorry, I'm not getting hate for this. You guys can take it.
No, I liked
Uh,
it. I mean, it's just
okay,
I don't love it. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah. I get to have the hot take for this one.
Which is the other film? I think the last time I discussed a film which everyone loved, like a classic film, I discussed with Prakhar only, who's joining for the
Hmm.
next episode. We discussed Millennium Mambo, which we liked, but we didn't
Hmm.
love. And we have actually similar issues with that also.
Yeah.
Though in that we were just like, just leave the guy. Like that sentiment of like, to the main character, I'm like, just get a like somehow just get away. I don't care how, but like, just get away. Anyways, that was the one other film I thought about, but like again, thought a lot about the sort of Taiwanese new wave stuff when I was watching this, though none of them have this sort of nostalgia for Taiwan, considering all of them are about how Taiwan is literally the loneliest city in the world. So yeah,
Segue.
interesting. Which is, yeah, it's a great segue, Chris. You're welcome. Unless you have
Thanks.
more thoughts to
I
dispense.
am very no thoughts head empty right now.
Okay,
Which is
so
great to be in the middle of recording a podcast, but
which you are
anyway.
hosting.
Again, hosting, great. I can tell you guys to talk about it. You're not gonna.
Yeah, but you're supposed to do the segue part.
Sure. We will be moving swiftly forward to
No, actually, slowly. Come on, Chris. It's all there. It's there. Come on.
it is called ironic juxtaposition, sir.
Okay, okay,
Sure.
sure, sure, Chris. Like
uh,
it is like, come on, you have to see that. It's like there.
sure, sir. Funnily enough, I didn't find it that slow, which is a big deal for me.
Wow, shocking.
Character development, this is called. But anyways, we are moving on to Simon Liang's 1997 film The River.
怎么样？摔伤了没有？这么不小心，起得来吗？
This stars Li Kangsheng, Miao Tian, and Lu Yiqing. It's a Taiwanese film, and the summary, thanks to IMDb, is a young man develops severe neck pain after swimming in a polluted river. His dysfunctional parents are unable to provide any relief for him or themselves.
I love
Um,
how simple the premise, like synopsis for these
Right.
films are. It's like just so like
but actually,
direct.
you and I, at least I don't know about Ashwin, but you and I disagree on the premise itself, that about the cause of the neck pain.
Do we?
Um,
Oh, you subscribe to the very boring one.
no, I don't. We disagree with the general consensus, right? Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. So I maybe Ashwin subscribes to that boring.
No,
I
no,
mean,
what
why
was
would
the
you
general
think?
what
As in,
was
like,
the
what causes
What
the neck pain?
is the question? We're gonna start from there, Ashwin.
Oh God. What causes the neck pain?
I mean, see, by the way, to people who have watched it, we are not like being key. There is a definite answer to this. It isn't, which is why we are speculating about
Yeah.
it.
Do you want
Uh,
the context, or you've gotten it of our
no, for me,
discussion?
I didn't really think much on it. I
Okay.
saw everything as the ailment and hunger and everything as repressed sexuality. For me, the
Hmm.
whole idea in the film is like all three characters are repressed, and for any healthy adult, like after like shelter, air,
Mm-hmm.
water, and food, the next thing is sex. And none
Hmm.
of them have it. That's the ailment, and in
No,
this,
but
this
no, no,
guy.
no. But
Yeah.
Ashwin, he has sex just before he has the ailment.
Oh, you mean like it's a random plot device? No, like I mean
So
he had
the
a straight
question
sex.
is that's our question.
Bring it in.
Is the question, did the neck pain come from being in the river, or did the neck pain comes from heterosexual sex? What is the
I mean,
cause of ailment?
I would have agreed with that if it was the first time, but she's an ex-girlfriend. No, like they might have done it a long time before as well.
Yeah, but what if the bout just comes now? Listen,
Fine. I then
the boring explanation is because of the river, which I'm like, sure. I'm like, but why? Like, I mean, like, like, why would you even take that? Because it's so interesting that the way Tsai Ming-liang cuts from the sex scene. The next time
Yeah.
we see Lee Kang-shen's character, he is on the motorbike and like touching his neck like this. I'm
yeah.
like
Back
this,
position, like
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, so it's like very interesting. This I only noticed this time. Otherwise, I was like earlier. I thought it was, of course, he spent like 5 minutes in what is equivalent of the Yamuna River in Taiwan. So,
Now you'll get in trouble. The rest of it will not get you.
what, come on, people will accept that. Like, have you seen the Yamuna?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, sure, that is an interpretation, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, no. We were just. I mean, you can have the other one also. We were just asking because we were the ones thinking, ki, why else would he edit the film like that? Because
Like
see, the
that,
thing
yeah,
is,
No,
straight
and it's
sex is
also
so
the
bad. He's like
mhm.
sick.
no, because especially also because the cure is so
Cure.
enigmatic, quote unquote, or the attempt to cure it is so difficult. Then
Yeah,
saying that, oh, this has like a very logical cause of it also feels like
yeah.
kind of doesn't make
I
logical
would
sense
argue
to
that the cure
But
is the
is it
homosexuals.
really good? Like the CURI,
that.
like does that
That
happen
is,
at the
I think it does, but I don't know if Chris does or you
I
do.
Yeah.
mean, I can say like there is a temporary pain relief kind of thing, but not because he's like
Sure.
still
Yeah, but like
yeah.
before, he was like not being able to hold
Yeah,
his
yeah,
neck.
that's why I said it's like a temporary alleviation,
Okay,
like a balm
interesting.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Again, this is so, Chris, you can introduce the film also. I guess, oh no, I'll do this bit. But basically, I noted it down where this is apparently the middle entry in a trilogy of sorts of Rebels of Neon God and What Time Is It There. I have not
Okay.
seen Rebel. I have not seen What Time Is It There. I think you have.
I,
I've seen Rebels of Neon God, which the family, the same people who are the mother, father, and son are the same in this. The same actors play them, and the same characters have the same name also, I think.
and same
Uh,
apartment also apparently
Same
in
apartment
all three
also. Okay.
films.
So, what time is it there? I have not seen,
I
so I don't
haven't
know
seen,
about
but
that.
I've read that it's the same,
Sure.
same
Sure.
actor, same character.
Sure. Got it. So, I mean, I just wanted to position it as that, unless there's like other stuff to be drawn from it's interlinking with those films. Rebels of Neon God I saw, I don't know how long back, but I think that one is the most quote unquote tame Tsai Ming-liang in the sense of it's more conventional compared to. This is arguably one of his most controversial films, actually, The River. So we've also chosen well, I suppose, in that sense. But Ashwin, you go, I guess, first. Chris and me have both half introduced this film. So,
Yeah, so
yeah.
like as I was saying, in a very stupid attempt to
Hmm.
explain the illness, but to me it is about repression only.
Sure.
Like the uh, it's kind of interesting how these three characters are introduced without like outright telling us that they live together or like
Hmm.
they are a part of family.
Oh, yeah.
Because like they are so isolated from one another. There's like
Yeah.
huge communication gap among them. So in like all respects, I think any sort of human connection, like physical or mental, like they're all starving.
Hmm.
So that's where we begin the movie, and so this Ming Liang is a filmmaker who uses like a lot of motifs to like tell his story. There are not many dialogues and all. So it starts off as like a here the motive is water, I guess. So like
Very
it's a
much so, yeah.
leak in the roof of the house, which is like dripping onto the bed of the father figure, like who is not revealed as the father of the family in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So
I was like,
and
is he the landlord
yeah,
or something? Yeah.
exactly. And the mother is having an affair,
Hmm.
and the son, like as we were talking about, like when the movie begins, like he runs into an ex-girlfriend, and the event that causes the neck pain, like for plot purposes, I would say, like where
Hmm.
he like swims in a dirty river for a movie shoot.
Yeah.
So yeah, like which develops and he develops a certain neck pain which gets worse, and the entire movie is about like trying to fix the pain basically.
Yeah.
So one thing that I noticed in the film is that like all three of them, like we see this is something that we see in Sai's films a lot. Like
Hmm.
we have scenes of the characters eating a lot. Like we are just the camera is just placed there and we're just watching them eat. So the whole the hunger thing that I was talking about
Yeah.
before, like this, we'll talk about it in like tropical malady as well as something like the word like devour is that I always associate with like
Yeah. Yeah.
desire as like
Yeah.
so they're all hungry for affection. I
Yeah.
think that complete repression and alienation from one another, like that of the three characters
Yeah.
and
So
how they try.
this actually, sounds very reminiscent, oddly enough, of Vive l'Amour only because it's three characters, one
Again,
woman,
three
two.
characters. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Living in
Yeah.
one apartment. Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
same thing again. I think
Yeah.
film after that called The Hole or something. I haven't seen
Yeah. Yeah.
where
Yeah. Which is two
it.
people, right? I think.
Yeah, that also has some like water thing happening.
It probably
Okay.
rains a lot, right?
Yeah,
In that place. So,
yeah.
so
So
this
he
is one
does
of
the
those.
same thing. He's been doing it for a
Yeah.
while. I think the most recent one that I've seen is Days.
Days. Hmm.
Even it rains a lot in that. Like so, it's the whole
And we watch him
isolate.
watch the rain for about 10 minutes in
Yes,
the
we just
opening shot.
sit there.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So
Yeah.
to me,
Chris reacts sheepishly.
while I was reading about it online, people have described this as the bleakest,
Yeah.
film of Simon Land. But you were talking about it being some joyous thing, so I want to hear
Yeah,
your.
it's so joyous. I was saying I'd argue that this isn't queer misery. And
Mhm.
again, I have to again preface in the sense that we've covered the Taiwanese New Wave actually again with Prakhar only. In that episode, we discussed Vive l'Amour.
Okay.
So I have already looked at his films from a sort of alienation lens and slow cinema lens. So this time, what struck me weirdly enough was like in the opening, for example, in the opening itself, firstly it begins with like these mechanical whirrings of elevators, right? Essentially one, it's like perfectly parallelly placed, so it's like one of them is going upwards, one of them is going downwards. The woman comes, she goes downwards, and the man goes upwards. Almost until they've reached their destination, they realize that, oh, we know each other. And so they change their directions and sort of, start to move in opposite directions and sort of meet each other like in a sort of clumsier manner than what the prescribed directions of their travel are. So to me, I guess I caught on to that as a sort of introductory thing, and sort of it sort of applied to a lot of the film, where it was like delayed gratification is the big thing in this film in many ways, and every time everyone goes for a conventional solution, it doesn't work. So to me, if the conventional solution doesn't work, and in that conventionality, which includes the whole idea that the man and woman are supposed to engage in sex, if that is indeed something which also doesn't, which actually I think is, if anything, the cause also of the neck pain, if that is also there, then what's the solution, right? We try acupuncture, we try whatever,
Religious
and
ritual thing, shaman or whatever.
rituals, etc. There's that really painful moment where I like always sympathize with him in the hospital, where he's like loses it entirely.
It was
And
a very heartbreaking moment,
yeah,
actually.
I've experienced that sort of back pain before, so I can totally relate in the sort of really you don't know what to do with your body because it's so painful at that moment in time. But after that, the other big scene happens. So the big scene is the of course the neck issue begins, which leads to I think some quite wryly funny stuff. Which again I think his films are funny in the silent comedy funny bits, especially like when Lee Kang Sing is trying to drive a motorcycle whilst in that state, and then his father is basically like, "You've lost your mind," but. No, I
And
think
the crash happens off screen. Like it's funny.
yeah, the crash happens off
And also
screen.
like does the mother give him the vibrator? Like what
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
She
yeah, she
does.
does.
She does give him the vibrator, yeah. Not that vibrator, but we think at least.
You clearly
Uh,
don't know the history of a Hitachi, sir. We're not going to go there.
okay,
Come
fine.
on.
Yeah, we are not going to go there, yeah. So no, no. So the other big scene and the biggest controversial sequence of the thing is this about 15-minute long, entirely wonderfully shot. All the stuff in the sauna rooms is exquisite. Like the way the lighting is used to like show, how the body is adjusting to the other person's body, how swiftly, sort of how actually coyly hands move onto the other person's body, etc., etc. And it's all highlighted because the way it's lit like that. So the big scene is that they both go to a sauna parlor, him and his dad has already had a very good scene where he just keeps on eyeing this guy who's standing next to this McDonald's, and he basically does a model walk ramp thing in front of him for like 2 minutes, and then he's like, okay, and then they go into the sauna uh, room. But like in this case, what happens is that mistakenly his son ends up in the sauna room with him, and they end up pleasuring each other. Both, right? Or is it just one person who is on the receiving end?
I think the son was on the receiving end, I suppose.
No, there's a, how much can we say in this?
That's why I'm like, why-
That is something you have to decide, sir. Not
yeah,
me.
exactly,
Oral
exactly.
sex is initiated also. So
No,
by the son, yeah. No?
really?
Am I
No.
watching a different film?
Yes. I mean, that was the other guy, I
No,
suppose.
no. The other guy refuses.
Yeah. No, here
I
then
think
no,
it's the
they
son.
don't. No,
There
they
is
don't.
oral
They
sex.
immediately finish and then they clean up,
Yeah,
from what I
cleaning
remember.
up
Okay.
is
Yeah.
shown for like 2 minutes with
Okay.
lot of paper and all. But no, yeah, like you were saying like that is like so incredibly well lit, like that scene. Because like it's like still a static shot and they want to convey that the dad doesn't know it's the son and the
Yeah.
son doesn't know it's the dad. Like it's framed so well, it's lit so incredibly well. Which
Yeah.
reminds me of like that sex scene in Days as well, which is
Yeah.
Mhm.
like if
Yeah.
it's like a millimeter to the right, it becomes porn, but
Yeah.
it's perfect. So it's this
Yeah,
visual
I
kind.
mean, this is what I would say, this is provocative cinema
Hmm.
Yeah.
positive, like, good examples of provocative cinema. I think it's this. So going by that theory, what if incest is the solution to your problem? See, it's one of those. So to me, it's that weird thing where it's like you don't know where, like, whatever normative thing you think is going to be the solution or the problem, it's all bungled up. So what happens is that when you have this incredibly, like, devastating, because it's shown in the night sequences before the final shot, both their faces are shown in the dark looking away from each other, in shame and disgust. So next morning he very casually goes like, I will bring you breakfast, and then he's like, get up, we need to leave. And it is also the moment when they are told they need to go back to Taipei. Like, they are done with the whatever business they were there, and then they were like, now you can go back to your place and find a doctor there, which I'm like, very convenient place to put this in after they have had that scene, but sure. And then he opens the blinds, and then he walks around more comfortably than he has walked around in a certain while. So to me, it is that sort of very odd thing where the incestuous relationship causes the pain to be cured. Temporary, permanent, I don't know. In the film's world, I saw it as that, which is why I was like, this is very pun not intended, very ballsy. And you know I was like, and this is because it struck me this time in that way. I was like, wow, I'd never thought about this film in that way. And I enjoyed thinking about it in this way because I thought there was a lot of merit to how Tsai was sort of maneuvering the action in the film like that. So, yeah, anyways, Chris, what is it? Reject my hypothesis.
No, I'm not going to
Uh,
reject it. I'm going to yes and it a little bit.
okay.
So I was talking about it with Dhruv, and again, it's the question of, right, to me, the how you interpret the ending changes. It's
Yeah.
either like a really radical film to me, or like even more of a bleak film to me.
Yeah, this
Um,
whole bleak thing I didn't get, this time. I'm just saying.
So, yeah, I'm just saying that I was reading someone's thesis by this person called Xiu Yin Yang. They kind of agree with kind of the reading that Dhruv is going with. I kind of saw it in another way, which is to say that, so just to talk about the sexual repression, all that, the thing I kept thinking of is this idea of consumption. So consumption is used a lot in, like, obviously food and also sexual connotations, but consumption is also the sort of archaic term which used to refer to tuberculosis. So it's also a word that refers to ailment in a sense. So to me,
Okay.
that is a kind of that sort of bridging together of like sickness, of like sexual depression, and of the kind of food or how it does that. I think consumption is how I was thinking, in Alienation, obviously, and that's the kind of theme that a lot of discussion happens around the film. But talking about that ending specifically, so to me, the fact that he's still, obviously, I read it as him still being in pain. I went back and looked at it again after Dhruv said it. Yes, it is that he's less in pain, definitely. But the way I saw it was that the unconventional, or the non-normative, here again, because the question is of normativity, which is what kind of defines for me like queer films, is the normative can be a respite, with the shame and the excess and the anonymity, of the kind of the act of cruising that is there in the bathhouse, etc. But the systems in place are so oppressive that the non-normativity or the unconventionality is a respite, but it's not a solution.
Sure. So
The
temporary,
pain,
what Ashwin was saying.
temporary,
Yeah.
and I think that's temporary, but also in the sense that like fickle, right? It's here,
Sure.
and it's like the nature of pleasure, right? You experience
Sure.
it and then it goes away. But
Okay.
that kind of makes to me the film
But that
more
also
bleak.
but that also works with pain then, right? In that
Indeed.
context then. Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, it's the idea of how you read the line between pleasure
Sure.
and pain. It's also, I feel like the film is negotiating really interestingly, because I've talked about this. I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast before, but there's this when we talked about Peter Hujar, in Peter Hujar's day, Peter Hujar's got a very famous photograph, which, if some people are aware, is the cover to the very famous novel A Little Life by Hanya Nakahara. The image is called Orgasmic Man, and it's the photograph of a man in close-up who looks like you cannot tell if he is experiencing an orgasm or if he's in pain, right? And you can see that kind of also in the sauna scene of where is, where does the pain from the neck end and the pleasure from the act begin? Like, that is a very interesting.
I mean, the other thing I was saying was ways in which both scenes of sexual activity
Yeah.
are framed with
Yeah.
respect to Lee Kang-shan, because in the first one he's facing away from us and we see the woman's pleasure
Mm.
essentially in the darkened room. Of course, everything takes place, so that's the other thing, everything that provides the pleasure takes place in a sort of darkened space. The
Yeah.
open spaces are the ones which are more restrictive in a sort of emotional and pleasurable sense, at least. So I think yeah, and to me, in the scene in the bathhouse with the father, I'm pretty sure Lee Kang-shen, again, if I'm not remembering wrong, is facing towards us,
Yeah.
and we see
Yeah.
him experiencing whatever he is. So to me,
And the
that's
father is the one
also,
who actively turns away. Yeah.
yeah. He's in the background. We don't see him only, I think, until he slaps him. Then when he gets up, yeah.
I mean, you get enough to know that it is him, but like it very much
Ah,
tries to
yeah.
shroud
Of
him
course, yeah,
in that
Yeah,
sense.
we
But
know
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
we know, yeah.
And I think the
And so,
actor who plays the father was very like
but
reticent to
apparently
Yeah,
do
he
this is
this.
about
went
Yeah.
to.
to gay
He
bars
went
and
to
like a
yeah.
bathhouse
Then he
himself, and
yeah
then
yeah
became interested
yeah
into it. But
yeah.
that's the point. Right? To me, how I saw it and the bleakness of it all is that it's the kind of idea that normativity is such the norm itself is such a trap that
Hmm.
even to defy it
Hmm.
is to, in a sense, reinforce or kind of stay within the box of the norm itself. So
Okay.
even when you try to find respite in this taboo act, it can
Hmm.
act as a temporary kind of, or a short respite, but that alienation doesn't go away merely by
Sure.
like to be
Yeah.
gay itself is in itself not radical. It takes like a radical act as something greater than just kind of staying in
Alienation
the
infects
shadow.
everyone, kind of.
Alienation, and it's also that in a sense the even the non-normative kind of reinforces the alienation because it's anonymous, it's in a
Hmm.
bathhouse, it's kind of transient, there's no connection. Being that same kind of alienation of the world above is being recreated in the
In
world
a
below
got it.
under,
Yeah.
again, in a strategy of trying to escape it, but one that inadvertently reinforces it, but like acknowledge, like the film is kind of acknowledging that reinforce. That's how I read the
Sure.
bleakness of it. Yeah.
Sure. Makes sense. I mean, I must have also very much hedged my chips on the one. Like, I told you, I ignored a bunch of the alienation bit while watching this because the whole Taiwanese new wave is about it, and we've talked about it so much that I'm like, there must be something more in these movies to talk about, which there is, which is why they are such like good texts, I think, to
Yeah.
talk about. But I think this is because again, I feel like Vive L'Amour, which we discussed, and you can listen to that episode. We discussed that Millennium Mambo and Typist Story. But we in that there's such a definitive ending. Like the
Yeah.
ambiguity isn't there in that ending. Like it is the one of the more harrowing cries in cinema, and an elongated one. Like she cries on screen for about 5-10 minutes, which is not pleasant at all. And it's a great scene, but it's a very
It's really Antonioni ending. So
yeah, it is, but it's very like direct about what it's about, right? In this, that sort of ambiguity was there because the whole plot itself has that ambiguity, right? Because it is about this mystery illness where the cause isn't revealed, and nothing seems to work for him except for this, which is strange. Like, it's like one of those things, like, how do you explain certain phenomena? And I guess, which is why we mentioned Todd Haynes is safe in relation to this, of course, because that released, what, 1995, so 2 years before this. By the way, we aren't discussing Todd Haynes in this whole series. We will be doing, because whenever his next film is coming, we'll probably end up doing a big thing
yeah,
on him, which is the same with Jane Schoenbrunn, right?
Yes, with
yes.
Jane Fonda as
Okay.
well.
So those two, I'm again checking off the list just to be saved. But yeah, anyways, any other thoughts, guys, on the river? It is. I was looking through the reviews. It's actually not very well received by the
Because I
critics.
mean, it's too controversial for a lot of
I
people.
guess so. Yeah. I think it won at Berlin, one of the
Yeah, it won the
jury prize,
silver bear
silver.
or something. Yeah.
And Berlin is notoriously whack with its choices, because the premiere happens in like Feb or March. Sanjeet has been to it, so he can talk about it. None of us have been, so we will not. Also, they are they've done some controversial stuff recently, so we don't want to talk about them in anyways. Moving. How do we move on from this? Still swiftly or quietly or I don't know,
Ooh, I don't know.
nimbly,
Like
nimbly.
From one mysterious
it's malady,
happening to
illness
another.
to malady.
Yes,
Illness,
one yeah, from one illness to a malady.
yeah.
We will be talking about a film that is a favorite of two people here,
Mm.
and a film very appreciated by the other person,
Okay.
which I don't think Dhruv believes. But we
No,
are
I
talking.
believe that you appreciate it. I just think that the part of it that you don't appreciate, you have lost your rockers about that. But anyways,
I mean, we've had this conversation like 15 times. Half the
yeah,
time
I
you're
know
very
that. But
empathetic
like,
about the
no,
fact that
yeah,
I
yeah.
this thing,
But
this thing, this
then
thing.
you like Luca Guadagnino's queer, so I have to like question those. Like if you care for the forest section in queer, I am sorry, I will have massive grievances if you don't care about the forest section in
Sir, we had
This
again,
is
we
the
had
wrong
this
audience.
conversation. We had this conversation even when we were discussing Luca Guadagnino's queer, that I like conventional filmmaking. Like that is something that appeals to me.
Anyways, it's fine. It's okay.
Petty grievances are being aired today
Yeah.
alongside these
And
films.
Dhruv will never forget it, like
But
that
yeah, no,
we both love
No,
talking about
I like
it.
queer actually, the film to a certain point. I think the forest section sex scene is like abysmal. Like I think it's like
again, sir,
terrible
you are telling this to the
surrealism.
wrong audience.
I
Keep this
Yeah,
in
I
understand
mean,
that.
mind.
I understand that. But
they're
I'm
like
saying,
they're fused together. It's oh my God, it's sublime.
It is.
Anyway,
Uh,
anyway, Sayambhu Mukti Prom is not the common link in this because he's not shot this.
he's not
So
short this. But yeah, we are talking
cinematographers
about
on this. Yeah.
Apichatpong Weerasethakul's Tropical Malady.
เนี่ยวันนั้นที่พี่ให้เทปเพลงแคสไปอ่ะพี่เหลือไม่ให้หัวใจไปด้วย วันนี้เอาไปเลยนะอ่ะพี่ส่งละได้รับยัง
กำลังรับอยู่รู้สึกได้เลยเนี่ย
This won the jury prize at Cannes. It is written by Apichatpong Weerasethakul. It stars Sakta Kwa. I remembered how to pronounce this and now I'm forgetting it again. So just he goes by Tong in real life as well and also in the film.
Okay.
It's Sakta Kebwadi. Sakta Kebwadi.
There is another name associated with this film, which I will right now only say is very hard to pronounce, and I'll, ashame myself by saying it now, which is the sound designer of the film, which is Akrit Chalam Kalankar Mathar or something. I'm sorry, but like it's very hard to pronounce.
No, I mean, this
The
is
sound
actually a
designer.
thing where in Thailand, okay, so for example, as you know, Apichatpong
I know
Weerasethakul
Apichat
also
goes by Joe, no?
This is a
Yeah.
thing in Thailand because people have such long names. They tend to
Apichatpong
have
is easy to pronounce. It's fine.
but like long names, they tend
Yeah.
to have like a one syllable, and it's a
Yeah.
very very funny names. That my friend who had two classmates who were Thai, their names, two sisters were Cream and Cake. So it's a
See, I don't like all this, which is why I would like to pronounce their actual names. It's just that some of them are very hard to pronounce, so I've
Yeah.
messed up in this. The other
and it's-
actor's name is easy to pronounce.
yeah,
but-
it's Banblop Lonmoy. You want to try with the cinematographers, Dhruv?
Why are you giving this to me?
You have the reputation for bad pronunciation. So
No,
you can
go for
keep
it.
piling
I mean,
them.
Jean-Louis Viallard or I don't know. Or what is it?
So yeah, Jean-Louis Viallard, Jarin Pengpanich and
Yeah.
Vichit Tanapanchit are the
Tana
two.
Panich.
Tanapanich are the two
Yeah.
cinematographers.
Three.
Three, sorry, cinematographers. And
Sound designer I tried to mention, but editor is Lee Chatamatikul. See,
Yes.
that was good.
That was good. Again, we've gotten yelled at by my French friend before for our terrible
Yeah,
pronunciation.
but we don't have Thai friends, no?
Yeah, not that I can think of. Yeah,
Sure, then we are safe.
safe for now.
Yeah, unless
but,
Apichatpong listens to us, which is gonna be like, why will he ever? He probably doesn't listen to anything except for nature. Why would he listen to us, who are basically
And-
the equivalent of noise?
Anyways, the summary: a romance between a soldier and a country boy wrapped around a Thai folk tale involving a shaman with shape-shifting abilities. Again,
Nice.
very
That's very well summarized, actually. I think you can go in weird places with this one.
weird places with it. Do you
Uh,
want to start, Dhruv?
no, you will start because you are
I
the
am not
least.
starting this.
Ashwin started the discussion on the
Sure,
river.
sir,
I
sure.
started
Okay.
the discussion on Happy Together, and you will start the discussion on Tropical Malady.
Oh, I अपने पैर पर कुल्हाड़ी मारना. This is called.
You
Anyways.
were.
Anyways, this is the second time I'm seeing this film. It's also the only Apichatpong film I have ever seen.
You should only
Uh,
see this for now.
But both times that I watched it, I thought the first half was just absolutely sublime. I think it functions as just really wonderful romance between these two characters. One is like this, and one is a rural, like a country boy, and the other is a soldier, and how they kind of navigate between the rural space and the urban space, and it's surprisingly straightforward for then the turn that the second half of the film takes. But I just think it really delves into that kind of silence and tenderness in a really effective way. So both times that I've seen it, I absolutely adored the first half. And I think again, a lot of very interesting images. I think the very end of the first half has got this moment of like the closest of intimacy that you get between these two characters, where
That's a
and again,
rupture, I think.
it's a rupture, and again, a lot of bodily fluid and like excretory metaphors are there in like a lot of queer text. Like if you've read the original Call Me by Your Name, there's a scene like that in that text as well. But here it's there's a scene where this one character, like Tong's character, is just taken a piss, and the other person sort of starts smelling his hand and then kissing it, and then they sort of exchange that back and forth. And I think that's a very really interesting way to frame that intimacy.
I mean,
Before,
the opening quote is about how humans are beasts, right?
Yeah.
By nature, and the job is for
To
us
be-
to tame it,
tame them.
like in ways which are which make you function. And I think that moment is very much the crossover into
Into the
beastliness.
beast. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the second half transitions into this. Is using the word surreal correct here? In this context?
Fable, yeah, it's a fable. It's a surreal fable, yeah.
Surreal kind of fable, like this thing where I think the character is called Lampoy's character is called King, I think, in the first half.
Yeah.
He sort of
Do they even
reconfigures
have
them.
names in the second half?
No, they don't have names in the second half, but
Yeah.
he sort of it becomes this
And
kind
it's
of
literally second half. I was like noting it down this time where like the cuts
that
literally happens.
yeah.
It's actually the half thing.
My progress bar was
I
like
think
in perfect 50-50.
Yeah, like plot descriptions on Wikipedia be like it's a different story with different actor. That's how they're writing it, you know?
It's basically like
It's a story
it's
with
treated
same
like two
actor.
films,
It's like
kind
an
of.
anthology with two bits essentially. Yeah.
Two
Right,
bits
right.
essentially, yeah. And it starts off with a sort of telling of a myth of this shape-shifting shaman, and it shifts into this kind of thing where King's character as a soldier is asked to hunt down this spirit that is haunting this forest and takes the shape of a tiger and is killing cows and people, I think, also in the village nearby. And it turns into this sort of chase, very surrealist chase of
Chase.
hunt.
Yeah, I mean, chase implies that there's a lot of running. There isn't.
There is some running. There is
Yeah,
that
but
one
like,
sequence
come on.
of
Come on,
it's
it's
a
not a
stake,
chase.
it's a slow.
Let's
it's
not
hunt.
sell it as a chase, because what if someone ends up watching this and they're like,
It is
"Chase
not an
Karthi."
action film in the second half. Like this is not Gehraiya that turns into Abbasam.
Did you just bring in Gehraiya into this, Chris?
I did it just to annoy you. Which turns into an Abbas Bastan film in the second half. That is what happens here.
I thought you were having a serious discussion on this episode.
Do you think Sir, after the clip I posted today of the things that you have said on this podcast before,
Yeah, but this is
we
the episode to talk seriously. That's garbage. What were we talking about then?
were talking about Spielberg, sir. You just called Spielberg
Oh,
garbage.
sorry. Yeah, but you see who all was there, no?
Hey, but it
That
was you
doesn't.
who brought that up. If
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, but I didn't disparage the Spielberg film. I just bought it up like from nowhere. He's bringing it in to the tropical malady part of it. I'm just like, how dare you? Anyways,
You're welcome. Anyways, no, but
you could have just
I
said Carl, right?
I've not seen Carl,
Oh,
sir.
okay. Okay,
So
sorry.
I'll have the
All
reference
right.
I've seen. No,
Okay.
that level of garbage I've not yet reached. Let's say, but
Right.
so it turns into this kind of hunt, and I found the very interesting thing about it is that there's a lot of ways to read how that kind of metaphorizes or allegorizes the first half of the film and how it connects into it. But to me, it was this kind of idea of the of the hunt in a sense of to hunt is also to be hunted in that
Hmm.
idea of um this inability of especially to me it is a very particularly queer kind of a thing of actualizing queer love in the kind of conventional way, so it becomes this deeply what do you call
I've so sorry.
yeah,
I've written a little bit about this, so I'm
sure.
not gonna, how do I even frame this? I remember the last time I basically told you guys that you can take parts of my review if you want to use it to publicize stuff because we were talking about promotional and they were like, "Oh, nice, you showed off." I don't know how else to talk about it.
Sir,
Like,
I joke, but I'm the one person who reads all your reviews. Hey, you don't have to do this to me.
anyways,
Come
my point
on.
is, I've written in one of the parts where it's basically like myth accommodates reality
Yeah,
to because to bridge the relationship that is broken by reality,
yeah,
which is the whole second half to me is essentially footprints, signals, the radio signals, and sort of crickets chirping. Of course, there's a lot of that. Monkey speaking, uh, and like elements of nature all sort of pushing together this hunt, of course, that begins as like I think like almost not almost it is a horror film.
yeah.
I think it begins as a horror film, and it very gently sort of goes into that sort of very melancholic space where the sound of the beast
Hmm.
coming across is one of the most like deeply affecting things for me. It just
Yeah.
feels like this desperate cry for affection for, and I love the opening of the film, which sorry, I'm just
Yeah.
circling back to that. But I this time I watched the opening twice also because once I slept while watching the film. This is my comfort sleep watch film. I've slept to the second half like 15 times. So never mind, not TMI I think. But
Not TIM.
where was I?
It had
Uh,
to be done.
It
okay,
was
fine.
right there.
Anyways, it sort of circles back to the opening about this chat that the army people are having with this girl on the radio. One person is having about a song that you can sing still, and they're like, "You'll run out of batteries." And she also says that this is for all all the lonely people, or all of you lonely people. And then I think the ending of this is, "Can you hear?" Uh, is it the I almost did an Oppenheimer. Can you hear the whatever the dialogue in that was? But no, there is something about, yeah, yeah. Can you hear the sound of whatever this? And then I love this whole idea of the sound being amorphous, it not being like this singular, tune they have, but it's like all of nature's base elements. And I again, the camera just keeps on looking into different spaces. It's like searching for like a definite thing, but how do you search for it when it is all around? Like it's the romantic element of that film is like genuinely astounding to me. Like I find it immensely romantic. The second half, especially because of how it sort of takes this elements of the first, which is incredibly romantic itself, and then distributes it into this sort of genre piece. and all the genre pieces itself then start to sing or like assemble together to convey this relationship which was so brutally broken, because there's that hard cut from the first to the second when the music is still playing, which it hits, like it feels like someone's cut off like the tie you have with someone, right? So to
I,
me,
I
on
think
like
it's also about certain excess, right? Like that's to me the very interesting thing about the second half. It's that
mm,
the excess or that which cannot be conveyed merely
yeah,
through words or
Right,
even
right, absolutely.
through the normative way of speaking, right? And I think
yeah,
that's the kind of juxtaposition, right? The first half
yeah,
is relatively conventional in
yeah,
its filmmaking choices and how it, but it's that the conventionality can never express
yeah,
what that relationship is and what that
yeah,
experience is and what the ability to consummate it is.
yeah,
And it requires this kind of absolute excess to be able to, even
yeah.
configure that mythic excess to be able to
Mythic,
configure it.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think again, I have a lot to say about the first half itself because I've watched again this a bunch of times. But the first half to me is, uh, despite, so I think I will describe it as the first half is a romance film with the sinister edge of a horror film lurking beneath it, and the second half is a horror film which has all the elements of a romance that you generally associate with a horror film. The image of the guy touching the footprint of that thing is one of the most romantic things I've seen. It's just the yearning, right? That's the big thing. And it sort of all comes across to me in base gestures of these people, which is what I think makes this such a haunting film for me, like in the best possible sense. Like I can't forget it in that sense. But Ashwin, you can wax lyrical about it. I can go on about this for a long time. So
Yeah, again, it's one of my absolute favorites, like
yeah.
films of all time kind of a movie.
Mm,
And this is the second time I'm watching it, and it has reinforced as one of my absolute favorites.
yeah.
So as you were saying, it's a very romantic film to me, and that I have this. My understanding of the film is the same as what you guys
Mm,
said. So like the first half ends basically when they do that kissing thing of
yeah.
like kissing of hands.
Mm,
It's kind of like one of the first acts of like a physical consummation of these two,
mm,
and for me like that moment is like so intense that like this movie needed an entire second half to express the emotional state of the characters. Like to me the entire second half is like a proposal scene, like
mm,
even like there is a line towards the end, like where what does he say? Like I give you my spirit, my flesh, and my memories. Like
mm,
it reminded me of the proposal scene in Pride and Prejudice, where like he's like, you have bewitched me, body and
mm,
soul. Like so like what I'm saying is this, their the feeling for each other is like so primal and so
yeah.
passionate that like they need an entire movie and this mythical ghost story to convey that feeling. So
Interesting.
I
But
find it
I'm interested.
extraordinarily romantic. Yeah.
It's interesting to me that you think, because to me it feels like the reality can't even accommodate not
Yeah, that's the
expressing
thing.
it, but
Right, right.
can't, I think, even can't accommodate that relationship, because we begin with a dead body, which
Yeah, yeah,
I presume is that of the prey, no, the predator in the second half, which
yeah,
is Tong, which is made unclear. We don't see the face clearly, but just from a body stature and how he moves, because the first like opening is incredibly enigmatic, like in the best way possible. Like the camera just starts moving very gently, and then we cut to wide shots of this naked man walking through the
yeah,
area. So to me, it's about something that cause this to break. And I think the first half ends with him looking at the photos in a sort of memorial sort of way, like memorializing him, because what he has of him is the photos, and the photos of, and it cuts again very like abruptly from that to the second half. But to me, the second half then becomes this almost like on that spiritual level, we have to make this reunion because the physicality of it will not ever accommodate for it. So yeah, to me, it's like rife with a great sense of loss, but like there's a sort of dedication, and the desire is so strong that it surpasses the physical loss that has occurred. So yeah, to me it's also operating on that sort of very deeply sort of uh, spiritual level, emotional level, which doesn't ring false at all to me. So I think that's the other thing to say. Like, it's easy to make this sort of film and think that, oh, like, he's pretentious. Like the second half is pretentious in the sense that it totally disconnects. You could have made a conventional thing out of the first one, but again, if you know Apichatpong, you know what he works like. So this is par for course. He likes doing the splitting of one half and the second half, and in this he sort of finds a manifestation of it, I think, which works wonderfully. And as much as I am being very, like, bitchy about Chris not liking it, I totally understand it.
I don't
uh
not like it, sir. Come on,
Whatever,
don't
like
slander
the
him.
sensibility of the second half is not your sensibility. I understand that
Yeah,
is
and
what
that
I'm
doesn't
saying.
mean that also does not mean I don't like it. I quite like
Sure,
it. And I really I resonated with a lot more on the second watch. I just it's
sure.
not my thing because I
Yeah,
do
which is
like
why
a little bit of an
I'm
adherence to
saying that
convention.
don't proceed with other Apichatpong films because they are very
Yeah.
much like that.
No, but
So
what you were saying about the spirituality is also what I'm saying about, to me, like the vulnerability of the hunt, right? Like
hmm,
the fact is, to hunt something is also is dangerous because you're always vulnerable to being hunted.
of
That is
course.
the kind of back and forth that they have, right? And that's
Yeah,
also the kind of impossibility, right? To in a hunt, there can be
yeah,
only one survivor of it.
yeah,
You either are the hunter, or you get hunted, and
yeah.
that's
I mean, there's
that
so
that
much discussion of fear
yeah.
in that ending thing also, and the close up of him, like absolutely petrified, because, and again, this is a great example, by the way, of shooting with limited resources. The
Hmm.
way the tiger looks in this is genuinely terrifying, and the way it's sort of captured is like that. It doesn't look like, a joke. For sorry, Vishal Bhardwaj, it's one of those sort of side knocks I'm giving to him, but like, you can work within a budget and make it this convincing. Like, I was like, this shit looks insane. Like, because it's done in sort of a resourceful way. Even the tree of life thing in it looks
Yeah, it looks
gorgeous.
just gorgeous. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, image and sound, he's, I think, very much, like, I think, one of the best working. Uh,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the thing. Like the second half, like could have been terrible in the hands of a lesser filmmaker. Like,
yeah,
but his image is like certain. There are like when the naked man like runs, like he kind
yeah.
of blends within that
The
brown car.
foliage and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
And
knows how to
there's
use
that
that
scene
surrounding.
where he pushes this guy
Yeah,
down a cliff when he's standing there. It's right out of a horror film,
yeah,
but it's the images alone like make you feel thing.
yeah,
So that's just a masterful thing. Like nobody else can do this.
yeah. I mean,
And
he,
towards the
yes,
ending
good.
thing, I have a
Hmm.
question. Like, it's kind of like an impasse. No, like they're like staring at each other. Like,
Hmm.
what exactly happens? Like, if you're just looking at the
I think it's
second
more about
alone as a story,
him surrendering, not like the hunter surrendering, not the hunted, to
not the
me
hunter.
at least. So to
Okay.
me, it's basically like he has to also, the, I guess what you said about, is
No,
there any
because like
relation
Chris was
to,
talking about the hunted versus the hunter thing. So I
yeah,
felt like it was like what do you say like
but doesn't the monkey say at one point that either you can kill him to free him of this world or be devoured and enter this world? To me, it is him being devoured to enter the world of this
okay, I felt
person.
like nothing happens like there that impasse kind of a moment is what I
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Monkey says like kill him to free him from the ghost world
yeah,
or let him devour you
yeah,
and his world. So
yeah.
like it just cuts to that like graphical image and then
Then it's
I'm
about him. Are you? Can you hear what I'm saying or whatever?
right, right,
That,
right.
which I think is the whole thing, where it's like he has also entered this world. Also, he kills a cow. So basically, I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
also to do with him mapping out to be the person in the story itself also at this point. So he's kind of following the example of the person who's the hunted. The again, I'm mixing the hunted thing, but yeah, I mean, again, to me, it struck more as a sort of surrendering as opposed to a sort of defeating, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
surrendering in a way which you can assume is surrendering to, I don't know, like I guess
Like
there's an element of
complete
death also
submission
to
kind of
it, or
thing.
like whatever it is. But like it's not, which is what I think. The one more thing I'll just say about the first half is, I again I had to write the review, so I was like, how do I freaking write a 500-word review on this? Because we were told to write it, and it was festival deadline day submission sort of an exercise. So we watched it at night at 9 p.m. and then we had to submit the review at 9 a.m. or 11 a.m. whatever it was. I was like, there is no way I can like not write a review of this without rewatching it because I was just like flummoxed. So what I tried was doing a very clear, like, separation between first half this, second half this, first half this, second half this. And then when I rewatched it, I was like, the beauty of this, all this is that the first half has plenty of elements which have that sort of horror lurking beneath it. Like it's in glances, it's in like minor conversations. There's this moment where he looks into the, like looks towards the sea, Tong does. Camera just gently like pushes in and just cuts to black. Like, there's, and then there's of course the going into the temple, underneath the temple into this enormous cave, which reminds me a lot of Bunmi actually. But so
Bhumi's
all the
name dropped, like I think
Bunmi's
not
name
this
dropped.
passage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't know this.
In
I'm
that in
watching
one
this
of
for the first time after I watched that movie.
okay,
So I'm like,
okay, okay, okay.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's directly related. Like it's his universe, not in
Yeah.
the sort of MCU, like, skin crawling way. But
But
I
that
was going to
thematically
mention
also
another universe that is going to make the
no,
audience. You can fill in the blanks if you know
you will
who we
have to
are and
fill in
how
the
we
blanks
are.
because we are actually doing an episode on that nonsense, courtesy some people in our podcast. Anyways, no, no. So yeah, I was saying more about the whole idea of the first half having those elements, and again, and I think this is a thing with Apichatpong, and this I don't know how much this fits into the idea of queerness or him being a queer filmmaker, but his ability to make his films feel spontaneous is astonishing. Like his films feel the freest films I've seen from any artist. Images happen and you don't know how they are happening. It's incredibly hard to do that. And I think, especially for people who've seen a lot of films, we kind of get used to the rhythms of it, right? Um, he has a strange ability to just, there's like moments in this where it goes to like almost a kitschy like thing where the person is singing on the stage,
Yeah.
like it becomes very melodramatic in one scene, and then there's one scene where a like someone's doing a gym class outdoors and like says hi to the army officer character. So like like all these, there are so many elements which are like they can't fit in here, right? Like how can they fit into this film? But they're there and they fit in that really odd way, which only I think he and a couple of others maybe managed to. I don't think there's anyone like him, to be honest. So I'm very hyperbolic when it comes to him, but I do think he is one of the greats in general. I think not just currently working. So take my word for whatever is worth. Like if you're into slow cinema, you probably should check him out though. He
But
leans
it's
more
not that
towards that.
slow.
He is not that slow. I think he's become a little bit more, but
Yeah.
in the earlier works, his earlier works are very eclectic. They really like to be playful. So if you want more of that, Chris, you might actually like his earlier work also. Uh, I think after syndromes just don't enter. Yeah.
Noted, sir. Any other
Yes.
thoughts on Tropical Malady?
Yeah, I mean, lots, but we won't continue. I mean, how much can we talk about it?
We can talk. We've been very disciplined this episode
Yeah,
and get it
yeah, but that's
quite short.
I think it's only because the next episode is going to be chaotic.
Is it going to be
Uh,
chaotic? It is the last one going to be chaotic.
no, next one also you have Querelle covered.
And your Stranger by the Lake.
Oh yeah.
Querelle,
And
I think Stranger by the Lake is still disciplined. Querelle is like a like
soft porn.
someone. No, it is
So,
porn.
No, I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
It
That's
is.
what.
oh
It
no,
is.
Querelle is a like image construction nightmare.
It's
In the
like
best way possible.
it is something though. Like it's genuinely like one of the oddest films I've seen, and it's like quite valuable for that.
No, Dhruv was mentioning earlier, I think, the image of the phallus in this film, the way it goes in the Querelle. I'll just give you like
Let's just say Fassbinder was enjoying life before he died.
yeah, I'll just give you just this one sneak peek of what Querelle does. In Querelle, there's like a bar at which at which a lot of this thing happens, and the fleur de lis on the flower motif on the windows of the bar, including, are like phallic. It is incredible. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's like one of those things, right? Like it's the last thing you're making. I think he was sick,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
sick at that
Yeah,
time.
they just throw everything at the wall, and
Literally,
it's
it's
all
like
phalluses at the
everything.
wall.
Yeah, it's like a phallus land, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like see the poster of it. It's just
Yeah,
ludicrous. Yeah. But Stranger by the Lake is much more sophisticated. Come on.
That is,
Uh,
but that's also softcore porn. No,
yeah,
it's
it is, but
pornography. It's pornographic.
Alain Guaradi is much more a sort of restrained filmmaker than a sort of
That's true.
restrained in the way it's shot. Also, I think it's what you call classy porn as opposed to
It's very tasteful.
yeah.
yeah.
This is like paperback, like you found in like some street, like
Yeah.
Querelles.
You found under
Uh,
someone bed or something,
yeah,
like
yeah,
in
yeah.
their
And like
like porn
with the
stash kind
papers all like
of.
sticky and everything, like all that. It's like very. It's dirty.
Yeah.
It's a dirty film, and I mean that as a compliment. Uh, yeah, and the other
Anyway,
film is Meetings of Anna, which Chris will not like. So
I
yeah,
haven't seen it either. Yeah.
you'll like Ashwin.
let's not judge me that quickly, sir.
It's written by
Come
a woman,
on.
no, and directed by a woman. So
Sure, sir. We have
And
we,
and
we
the
have we have we
titular
have
actually,
titular
already
titular scene.
weirdly
established I'm on my redemption arc this year. I have loved one film directed by a woman and one film about
true.
women with no men in it. Let's go. I'm
No,
like,
but weirdly enough, there's actually going to be a controversy even discussing Chantal Akerman. I realized
which is
because of Jewish connection.
oh
Uh, yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, I don't know how much weightage to put on a comment she made in 1982 about Zionism. And if she would support Zionism now, I don't know. But like, again, I don't know. Okay. We will not be
We
discussing
will
much
get to
of
it.
that in this. Anyways, she is for whatever purposes, she is one of the best filmmakers we've had. So we will be discussing her work, which is anyways entirely about alienation. So basically, this queer thing is like sub divisioned with the alienation department only, I think.
Alienation, Misery. Those are your two best friends.
We were actually listeners. We were actually thinking about if there are joyful queer films. So if you do have suggestions, please do. Chris and Ashwin will be very glad to watch them. I like the misery part. So like this misery. I don't like you're really miserable. Like take a gun to your head and like finish the world off
You
like
don't
that
like
way.
miserableism, you like miserable kind of things.
Yeah, I don't
Tasteful.
like homebound. I don't like. Yeah,
Wow, sir.
yeah.
Anyways,
See,
I think
you brought in the worst things in this. Okay, this is still fine.
no, I was like, before we get into even more trouble, I think we can
What's
like
the
so
sorry?
annoying.
Just to confirm, what is the next after that?
No, after that, so we said the English is a benediction.
Oh, benediction. Oh,
Again,
that's going to be a
more
long discussion. Don't worry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then Pink Flamingos and
And
I
Bound.
I'll make sure to use the opportunity to discuss most of Terence Davies' films in that
I mean,
benediction part. Yeah. By the
yeah.
way, this is I guess I'll do this in all of the Pride Month episodes. Please watch Terence Davies films, guys. A humble request. He has sadly passed away very recently, and unfortunately, he one of the pains of his films is that the artist in that never got recognition when he was alive, and that's unfortunately come out to be true with him. It's a very sad reality, but he is, I think, one of the a magnificent artist whose work deserves more eyes at least. So
And that is why, to
benediction.
contrast that, we have put obviously John Waters' Pink Flamingos, which is
I've not
again,
seen it, so
you have not seen it. Ashwin, you have,
I've
no?
seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah, which is a great, like Corel, it is a dirty
But
film, and in a very
even Bound,
literal
no, or
sense.
no?
No, Bound is a very sexy film.
Okay.
Pink Flamingos is a dirty film in a very literal sense. Like, it's a
Literally
film about
disgusting.
Okay.
filth and disgust and dirt and people living
Yeah,
in
it's
filthy
trash
conditions.
art, right? You said.
Yeah, it is trash in the very literal sense of we
Yeah.
live in the trash. And iconic ending monologue or interview that Divine gives in that film, which you can, which again Dhruv, our in-house Dev Saran, will resonate with quite a lot, because she says kill everyone.
Kill everyone
What
now.
is now? Someone asked, what is your political
I'm not
stance?
that
Kill
violent,
everyone.
but sure.
In solidarity, you stand with her, even if you
Yes,
don't agree
I
with her.
do. Yeah. Anyways, I think
On
we
that
are
note,
on that note. Yeah.
yeah, please. We've got 2 other episodes in June apart from the Pride stuff. We are covering more Spielberg. So one episode on his
Yeah,
other science
essentially
fiction
that's
films.
that we are compensating for Pride by discussing Spielberg.
You're
Can I
saying
throw that accusation at him?
that he's a raging
he-
heterosexual.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um,
I'm just saying
I mean,
Like,
again,
for
in
essence.
Minority Report, there is like some.
Heck yeah. Okay. So I
in
don't
Minority
know.
Report, there is
He
a very
calls Colin Farrell
iconic
like FBI twink. Like it's.
Okay.
which is my favorite.
Whenever
Again, it's
whenever
Tom
I think
Cruise. Tom
I
Cruise has the
understand
audacity to call Colin Farrell? Yes, a twink. Amazing.
Farrell, whatever.
Yeah.
No, whenever I think of Spielberg, I do not think of Pride, unfortunately. So is my pitch for this. Anyways,
Interesting.
those episodes are coming. You will have to bear with
Yes.
the other members of QID also in those, though.
Covering that, as well as the release of Disclosure Day. And
Which is supposed to be very good. So good.
fingers crossed,
Yeah.
let's hope so.
Yeah.
Again, people are saying it's like Close Encounters, which worries me a little bit, but we shall see.
Of course it does.
Thematically.
Yeah, we shall see.
You will be fine, Chris. You have Josh O'Connor.
That and Emily Blunt, sir. Both
And
of them.
Okay.
yeah, she's supposed to be very good.
Yeah, I've heard, yeah.
And
And he
Coleman
was
Domingo also, no? I read
Yeah,
somewhere.
but that's
he,
Yeah.
wa-
a
he,
minor
wa-
role, I think.
he was in The Running Man also. Okay.
And he was the better part of the Running Man. Come on.
There is no better part of The Running Man, but okay. Michael Cera maybe, but like for
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Anyways, yeah, and then the 2 Pride episodes. You can find links to all our socials. You know where to find them. Thank you so much for listening, and khatam.